52 seconds of 3 opening studio logos. Bear years. According to my vast internet research, bear years are basically 2 times human years. So honestly, I think just saying a few years ago would have been fine. Unless, of course, you're talking about the years the Bears won the Super Bowl. In which case, welcome to 1986, and 1986 only. These are the muddiest falls ever. Like, I'm guessing it's called Mud Falls, or Brown Falls, right? Why would anyone ever come here to view raw sewage destroying the landscape? Is this a beer river? Did God pee in this river?
Reading makes me sleepy.
You and me both, brother. Also, they're chilling on imminent death bridge, eating sandwiches, watching the apple cider falls, and the thing they spot floating below them is a child of their own species?
Lower, Pastuzo, lower!
Oh, he can't hear her at this point. And even if he could, he can still see. And lower is kinda duh, is it not? Also, I like this better when it was Morpheus and Neo in Matrix Reloaded, and it was a river of traffic instead of a regular river, and an explosion instead of a falls. But otherwise, total ripoff.
We've got a cub to raise.
Cute reveal and all, but she obviously dove all the way into this water to snag baby Paddington. So where did the extra slack go to be hanging this high off the river? Also, Paddington is basically Superman Moses, rescued by adoptive parents from a river where he'd ended up after his own parents gave him up to fate. Also, why does rescuing him mean you have to fucking raise him?
But he likes his marmalade.
That's a good sign.
Any chance you guys want to hold this conversation until all 3 of you aren't precariously close to being waterfall chum? At least grab the kid with your other arm. Discount Rise of the Planet of the Apes scene also serves as a title screen.
Dear Aunt Lucy.
Exposition via letters. He's scrambling his brain right now, right? There's no way around it. If he pushed those toothbrushes any further in, they'd be touching the middle of his skull.
The steam fair's coming to town.
Steam fair? Is it a bunch of kettles and locomotives? Is there an exhibit full of red-faced angry people? What about the condensation circus? Or the barometric pressure block party?
When you can go by boat or plane or even train.
Stock footage.
He spent the holidays building a fully working steam engine.
This movie spends way too much time on where are they now instead of just getting to the point.
Open your mind, and your legs will follow.
Wow, literally one of my wedding vows. This movie owes me money.
And it isn't every day a bear turns 100.
No, it's not. In fact, it's more like every day. No documented bear has lived past 45. This pop-up book sequence of Paddington envisioning his Aunt Lucy getting to visit London is magic in its raw form, and I'm taking a sit off. Damn it! It's nearly impossible to sin this freaking adorable movie, but I've got a job to do here, and there's no way an electric shaver would give off enough vibration to literally move a bear around a room. However, my college girlfriend has requested some alone time with it for testing purposes, of course.
Harry Marmalade.
Harry Marmalade was no one of the terms in my middle school sex ed textbook.
This pop-up book.
Do you know it?
I know of it, but I was led to believe it was lost.
Well, then it certainly is a good thing for plot reasons that this chance encounter, popped up. This montage never goes to nighttime, and therefore suggests Paddington washes all the windows on this street in one f***ing day, and that's ludicrous. This is the least practical way to wash windows ever. Inefficiency called, and was like, damn bear, even we don't have time for that shit. But it's somehow an even worse way to perform live music, and those stringed instruments aren't amplified and would never be heard. What? You can't use pulley-based window washer rigs on a building that slants inward as it goes up. They would be scraping along the actual building facade, not dropping slowly parallel to it. So Hugh Grant learned about the book and knew he wanted to steal it and found out where it was, then just waited weeks and weeks and weeks while Paddington earned money and stole it the night before Patty would have bought it? The f***? I'm pretty sure this swan couldn't even carry Paddington's weight, but if it could, I'm even more sure it couldn't continue flying while looking backwards. It's a simple matter of weight ratios. Every single neighbor, including this cute couple with the matching PJs, comes completely out of their homes and down their steps to gawk at Paddington being arrested. You don't have to spy on your neighbors from the street, people. That's what windows are for.
Caught red-handed.
What?
Robbing Gruber's Antiques.
Was he, though? Not only was he never even spotted in the shop, there's not even any sign of the stolen merchandise anywhere around him. I mean, fine, have your stupid suspicions, but don't go using phrases like red-handed when it clearly doesn't apply. Bears don't even have hands.
And all along, he was robbing you blind.
Man, British Tim Roth is kind of a dick.
It'd be quite a stroke of luck, that bear turning up when he did.
You mean 3 months ago?
Hidden on every page, a little lady pointing to a clue. Find all the clues, we're rich again.
That's not how clues work. Anyone can just find a clue. You have to actually decipher the clue's hidden meaning. You have to solve the puzzle, not just collect the pieces. Also, good thing Hugh has a thing for monologuing to his mannequins, or else how would we be able to get this important book's position out? So, circumstantial evidence, overzealous cops, and a judge with a grudge are going to combine to send Paddington away for a crime he didn't commit. And that sounds so much like the real-world legal system, I'm giving this movie a sin for not being fictional enough.
And is this the same marmalade?
Yes, it is.
Oh, you, marmalade sommelier motherfucker. This is less scientific than the method my uncle uses for picking a horse to bet on.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
May my entrails be plucked forth and wound about my neck, should I deceive.
This never pays off.
10 years for grand theft.
Oh, but
and grievous barbarly harm.
I mean, if you can get jail time for barbarly harm, I'm not gonna lie, Paddington deserves everything that's coming to him. No one will be seated during the section of the movie Wes Anderson directed. A wooden chair and a desk in prison? That's a shiv party is what that is. God, you can make a shiv out of wood on accident. It's called getting a splinter. Hey, he wasn't carrying that book just a second ago when he was climbing out here. How did anything get in his mouth while he was being avalanched with laundry? He's forgetting the red sock on his hat, which will lead to hilarious hijinks in a moment, but shouldn't that sock itself be contraband? What kind of prison allows red socks?
Oh, it's only one red sock. What's the worst that can happen?
Great comedic timing, but let's think about this for a second. If everyone in here has no choice but to wear pink-tainted uniforms, that means that everyone's uniform was being washed in that same load. Not only is that a giant steaming load, but it basically means that on laundry day, they all wander around prison bare naked. Laundry day, UK prison sounds awesome.
Aunt Lucy said, if you look for the good in people, you'll find it.
That's just something ugly people say.
Knuckles, with a capital N.
Knuckles has no regrets. Holy balls, the steam fair is still going on? Like, the movie showed Paddington working his ass off forever to earn the money to buy the book. 1,000 coins, dude said. This is the longest fair ever, is what I'm saying.
My great-grandmother, who started this fair, was the finest showwoman of her generation.
This movie is ultimately going to have a massive treasure as its MacGuffin. But the flashbacks we just saw says the treasure was amassed because the original showwoman was such a good trapeze artist that rich dudes wanted to f her so bad they just threw Rolexes and other expensive at her as a primitive form of catcalling. And that would be a tiny treasure, is my point.
So what if they're, I don't know, clues?
Clues?
This is maybe the biggest leap in logic that turns out to be right that a movie character has made since Prince Humperdinck was certain he smelled that odorless iocane powder.
Enter Sister Isabella.
Sister Isabella totally looks like a guy. Specifically Hugh Grant. Most of this guy's costumes are pretty okay, but this is just a man in a habit.
Aunt Lucy said if we're kind and polite, the world will be right.
Aunt Lucy is a f***ing idiot. This is as good a time as any to say Paddington survives this. Holy crap, this Hard Times newspaper is great. It's got great pun titles and actual full articles underneath. Is it possible we're about to take a sin away for how well a movie did newspaper mock-ups? Nah, it just reminds me of how lazy every other movie is. So...
Your Aunt Lucy sounds like one of the most naive, gullible, mushy-brained...
He gets in trouble for saying this, but he's 100% right. Super wasteful method of making orange juice. Also pretty unsanitary. Whatever. The movie is cute, so who cares about diseases? Pad Tatooey.
Knuckles!
What?
Come and look.
Even Paddington is willing to stoop as low as the "you better come take a look at this" cliche.
And I can make a strawberry panna cotta with a pomegranate glaze.
Come on then. Let's get cooking.
Sure is nice of the UK prison system to provide an unlimited and no questions asked budget for the prison cafeteria. Anything for those Michelin stars, I guess. How does better food for prisoners translate into the warden lets them string up lights and plant flowers and hold dramatic auditions and I love this movie, but it's king yada yada. Oh, the band's still here? Is the band fake? Are they imaginary? Can they go away?
And they all became the best of friends. The end. Time for bed, you lot.
How is he hearing the prisoners respond? Is that PA system two-way? What would Aunt Lucy say about that lack of privacy?
None, a beefeater and a king.
Ooh, wait, I've heard this one. Is the punchline, I guess it's true, old habits are hard to break? Classic.
Keys. Bottoms!
The movie wants this to make me feel the loss in this neighborhood of Paddington. But mostly I'm wondering why this f***ing guy can't keep his keys in his pocket.
Phoenix Buchanan?
He's a master of disguise.
Dang it, Paddington. I was all into enjoying the optimism and humor, and you had to go and make me think of a Dana Carvey flop from 2002, whose only claim to fame is a turtle impression, and yet somehow I still have affection for. Damn you, Dana. Damn you and your pointy upper lip. Carvey!
The fortune teller, career criminal, and parrot are right. May I remind you that you don't actually have any proof?
Robert Crawley would be excellent at CinemaSins.
If you're gonna clear your name, you're gonna need our help.
The Browns may mean well.
Sure was nice of whoever laid this pipe to include a random pipe opening in each cell. That way, anytime the prisoners need a little excitement, they can just take advantage of each other's holes.
Hey, phrasing!
I've got 2 minutes, so we better make it snappy.
What if Phoenix's agent hadn't had a meeting that day? And Mary being delivered into his house as a package? This whole plan seems unnecessarily complicated, and it's almost like the movie is prioritizing zany humor over any real-life probabilities.
They are not letters at all. They are musical notes.
Well, okay, that's not bad, but it's too late to save this convoluted plot.
Oh no.
What?
We've missed visiting.
Do they actually call the prisoners in to wait on visitors that aren't even there yet? This seems disgustingly cruel, even for a country where black pudding and jellied eels are considered good eating. One missed visit and Paddington starts doubting the Browns. Well, that's just bad prison design. I mean, every prison has an escape slide tower, right? What was their plan if Paddington said no? Because there's no way McGinty is making this climb or doing this cog surfing. The fact that Wes Anderson ultimately is not involved in any aspect of this movie ultimately is a sin. So they built a fully functioning hot air balloon for this escape. Sure, that checks out. Also, isn't this like the most conspicuous way to leave? The giant size, the slow movement, the bright light of the fire, and the sound. Good grief, the sound. You can hear those things flame on a mile away. The only stupider way to escape would be a fire truck with full lights and sirens driving 5 miles an hour while blasting Livin' La Vida Loca through some attached amps.
This is a refuse emergency!
Thing I said as I ran to the bathroom the other day makes its way into the... No one notices this!
Nothing to see here, officer. Just a bin.
That f***ing worked. The script for this thing gives a lot of leeway on things like physics and logic. Do Carnival freight trains depart from passenger terminals in England? I submit to you, they do not.
I should have a break after all I've been through with that beastly bear.
Take a chill pill, Chancellor. You got a bad haircut, and then send him to jail. And that must have been months ago, right? What else did he do to you that he's still on your mind?
Nice work, J-Dog.
My name's not J-Dog. It's Jonathan Brown, and I like steam trains.
This line and the narration earlier about him wanting to be called J-Dog is how you do full character arcs in 15 seconds. Well, it's how you try, at least. Also, it's not like Jonathan can control where the train goes from here anyway. I'm pretty sure it's on tracks, because it's a train.
I don't do nothing for no one for nothing.
Well, odd grammar aside, this is clearly a says they won't do the thing they're definitely going to do cliche. Why is the D here black when he clearly wrote it in white earlier? Littering. Paddington needs candied apples to stick to the train, but apparently his briefcase can just sit there fine without any confectionery adhesive.
What was it?
D. F. D.
Even if you somehow didn't have the lousy 4 letters memorized, apparently this organ is programmed to make a noise when you get it wrong. So just by process of elimination, you could have solved it pretty easily.
I think you'll find that fire's plastic darts.
So it does.
Imagine if it didn't, though. Jesus, Granny went for the f***ing headshot. In the first Paddington, the family's lessons and growth were textured and groomed, but here, Judy rear windows him from 3 cars away, and we're supposed to remember about her being a photojournalist. And Henry throws a coconut, so we can call back to his lamenting his loss of youth. But just like Jonathan's moment earlier and Mary's Luganus later, it all feels forced and unearned. The sequel does capture a lot of the original's charm, humor, and good feels, but the character work, not so much. Deus Ex Convicta?
Guards, lock me up! Oh, wait, you have?
How did we get to the mid-credits scene before taking a sin off for how great Hugh Grant is in this? Quick, before the radio wipe ends!
And monkey's brains, though popular in Cantonese cuisine, are not often to be found in Washington, D.C.
It's very nice, Mr. Gruber.
Making life-saving inventions out of household material.
But I wouldn't care to have an undesirable crawling all over my premises.
You are monsters! That is the role you seem determined to play, so it seems that I must play mine.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Get ready to care. Prepare to stare.
Lisa,